I was born in Korea, South Korea, in '68, and as you know, like Korea went through a civil war, and it's still a divided country right now. After 50 years, it's still a divided country. And why did they fight? They fought over an ideology. They fought over a system of government, an economic system of government. And people are still separated. I have family in North Korea that I would never see. The consequences of that kind of division, that kind of ultimatum, like you're either with us or against us, is years of people suffering. Eric and I spent 2 years documenting the immigration fight in Virginia, Northern Virginia. They fought viciously over immigration policy that is very similar to the Arizona law, right? Where people really felt targeted, and they lived in fear and left. And people who felt like, by any means necessary, we're going to kick these people out. They were willing to use guns. They talked about using their guns. They just felt invaded. So when I saw the Tea Party rise, especially during the healthcare debate, and seeing that debate totally degenerate, and not expecting it. I just didn't think we could have like a culture war over healthcare policy, because if you look at the bill, it's like really minutia about insurance policy and stuff, But somehow they turned that into something so toxic that people were not able to speak with family members, friends, because it just got so ugly, And so that's kind of how the coffee party started, where I felt that we could have a civil war of anything, if there are people willing to just say, by any means necessary, we're going to stop this, and people who had such little regard for the unity of our country, the federal government, that they're willing to basically declare a war on the government. It's that division and the acceptance of extreme tactics to exacerbate those divisions, because it really serves the purpose of advancing extremists. If you divide up a people and also make political topics so toxic, most people don't want to participate. The great middle, as Davey's talking about, the great middle, they don't want to participate in anything that toxic, so they just stay out in the margins. They opt out. They don't go to the healthcare town hall debates. They don't write in even to their congressman. But instead, you have people who are on the extreme writing those letters, having rallies. It's very easy to start thinking that that's a lot of people, when you're really talking about a few people. And again, we saw this in Prince William County, where really it was just a handful of people who were really against, who were really for that policy, and who were obsessed with this idea that they're being invaded and all that. It was a handful of people, but they were able to dominate the discussion. That's when people can take over a government. People can take over federal government, state government, local government, if people like us don't show up. That's happening. A lot of people are just saying, I can't deal with it. I don't see any solutions. I don't want to bother. It doesn't matter. That kind of like defeatism, like it just doesn't matter. And so they just stay away from politics altogether. And what happens is, opting out doesn't mean that, it's like abstaining doesn't mean that you have no impact. It's actually going to get worse. So this is why it's so important for the coffee party to say, it's not even just the middle, it's the majority. We need the majority of Americans to be part of our democracy. Because otherwise the democracy just won't reflect truly the will of the people. It only will reflect the people who are most actively organized, around something.
It won't actually even reflect them, it will reflect the people who are organizing them.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right. There are things that we can talk about in terms of like redistricting and term limits, transparency. We can talk about all these things, but really the greatest threat is lack of participation. And so we have to figure out how to present politics in a way that is palatable to people. They can stomach it. Because right now, they can't stomach it. They can't go to rallies. They don't want to go to town halls. They don't, they don't know where to go to really participate in a way that makes them feel good, And you're not going to keep doing it unless you feel good, right? So this is why we have to carve out this space. And it's like a literal space, where people feel safe. You come in here, and how many of you felt like you were looking forward to coming today? Okay, good. Well, that's great. So you look forward to coming because even if you guys don't all agree, you leave as a community. And you respect this space, you respect the process, you respect other people's opinion, right? And you feel respected. Just that experience right there is enormously important. To give people opportunity to be part of that experience is so important. Because then they start to think, okay, I can talk about this, and it feels good. We start dealing with the fear of participation. Fear of conflict. Really, it's about fear of conflict. Fear of being not knowledgeable, not having knowledge about it. So you get afraid to participate for that reason. Even if you don't agree, okay, let's all support this, okay? And you start empowering people. It's like, okay, I don't care if everyone disagreed with me at the meeting. I know that this is the right thing, and then I'm going to do something about it. Like, you start really empowering people, after you give them that experience, being able to think about it and talk about it with others in a way that makes them feel respected. And so this is why the process part is so important, not only to the coffee party, but to democracy.